example. So today we will take another function. Say here, if you see f of t is equal to t. So if I take f of t is equal to t, as you all know that, as you all know that there is a function Laplace transform which is defined by using the formula, that is integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st f of t into dt. So this you have to remember how we are defining the Laplace transform. You have to remember, okay, because only this f of t we are going to change. So remaining function will be remained same. So what we do now here, this will be equal to improper integral, we are changing into the proper one by taking the limit as a tends to infinity. Okay, so this will become 0 to a e to the power minus st, and my f of t is t here into dt. And yesterday I just explained you how we are using this trick. So what is this trick? So this trick is applicable only for those functions which will be getting back to zero once we differentiate it multiple times. So for differentiating and integrating, we have to consider two functions. So here if you see this t after differentiating multiple times, it will tend to 0, and this I will take it for the integration. So this is my differential function and this is my integral function. Now I differentiate it again, it is 1. Again differentiation, this is 0. Then this you integrate, it is minus e to the power minus st upon s, or it's nothing but e to the power minus st upon minus s. This minus s, I'm writing this minus sign here. And again if I integrate this, this will become e to the power minus st upon minus s square. So this minus and minus, already one minus is there, that will become plus. Okay, so that's how it works. So I think we don't need any more integration here because I've already got 0. The differentiation, you should stop. So now what you do, don't consider this term. Okay, so what you will do here is cross multiplication with this and then this with this. Okay, and here alternatively positive and negative signs. So what I do now here, this is, I'm writing it as t into, this is t into this term, that is minus, I'll write this minus sign here, e to the power minus st upon s, and this is minus e to the power minus st upon s square, and here this is 1 into, therefore I'm writing only this. This is limit, here you have to consider limit as a tends to infinity, here I've taken it, and limit is from 0 to a. Now wherever t is there, this observation you have to be very very careful. Wherever t is there, first you have to apply the upper integral, that is a, and then you have to apply the lower integral, that is 0. So if I apply wherever t is there a, then I'm getting this term. You can see limit as a tends to infinity, this is t, so minus e into e to the power minus sa upon s, minus sign as it is e to the power minus sa upon s square, because I am applying the upper limit. Then minus lower limit. Since minus sign is there, it will become minus of minus plus. And since this t you have to put 0, so the whole term will become 0 here. Okay. Then again minus of minus plus, if I put this t is equal to 0, then it is e to the power 0 upon s square. E to the power 0 minus 0 doesn't matter, it is just e to the power 0. Okay, so now you have to apply wherever a is there, apply the limit as a is tending to infinity. If I do that, this you can observe, this is minus infinity into e to the power minus infinity, and I already explained you this e to the power minus infinity, it is nothing but what, 1 upon infinity, this is equal to 0. So therefore this particular term will tend to 0. Similarly this also will tend to 0. Remember, whenever you are getting something in the form of e to the power minus infinity, that particular term or associated term will tend to 0. Okay, so this is what is becoming 0 now. Now this is already 0, so what about this term then? Since this is free from a, so no need of applying limit here. Okay, so therefore what we do, So what we do now here, this is equal to 1 upon s square. So here this is, 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 1 upon s square. The answer is Laplace transform of t is equal to 1 upon s square. So whenever we are solving such problems, only applying limit is very, very important. So you have to practice it multiple times. Okay, so these are very, very simple examples, guys. We have to go very long, and these are all basics which we are not asking for the examination, but just I just can't skip it, because if you understand this basic stuff, then we can put the whole building of Laplace transform. Okay, now come back to the next example. Here it's very simple. Here f of t is e to the power at. So e to the power at, where t is greater than or equal to 0 is given. So same way, what I'll do now again, wherever f of t is there, I'm going to substitute e to the power at. Say integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus st. This is my f of t, e to the power at into dt. So it is nothing but e to the power s into e to the power m type. So it is nothing but e to the power s plus m. The same thing I'm doing here. I'm adding both the powers minus st plus at, that I will, if I take minus sign out, it is s minus a into t dt. Okay, now take the integration of this. This is limit as a tends to infinity as it is. The integration of this is equal to e to the power minus s minus a into t divided by minus s minus a. Okay, so here you have to apply the limit from 0 to a, and then you take the limit as a tends to infinity. So this is what you are supposed to do, and wherever t is there, apply a and 0. So here you can see e to the power minus s minus a, I'm putting, this is upper integral and this is lower integral e to the power 0. And again I have told you it is of the form e to the power minus s into something. So here if you apply a tends to infinity, this term will become 0. Okay, so this is nothing but plus e to the power 0 upon s minus a, which is equal to 1 upon s minus a. So clearly the Laplace transform of e to the power at, which we are discussing today, will become 1 upon s minus a, and this is true for every s greater than a. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is all these basic examples you have to remember as the formula, because whenever you're solving the examples in the now upcoming classes, you're going to utilize them directly. Okay, so you have to remember them in particular. So is the problem is clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think my speed is fine.
Ma'am, I have a
Yes,
doubt.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I
Yes,
have a
sir.
doubt.
Yes, sir.
This thing, that trick that you just taught us, we should use that only when we have a variable in place of t, right?
It's not about the variable beta. It's actually when you have to use a trick. I'll just tell you. Whenever you have two functions, say for example, now t into e to the power minus st you're having. So there, this t after differentiation, it is coming to 0. If such functions are available, then only you can use that trick. So now this example where I'm going to solve, now this sin 80 example which I'm going to solve, here this particular trick is not going to work out. I'll show you how. So remember, if it is t, if it is t square, or if it is say some other function like x square, x 2x, or it is 3x plus 4, anything like that. If any function are there after certain differentiation, if it is you're getting 0, so there only you can apply the trick. Hope I'm clear.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now I will explain you how that trick will not work out in this example. And it is something, the sin 80 example is a bit, Karthik, one request for you is, since I have, it's very lengthy and it's very problematic. See, whenever you are filling some steps are, you want me to repeat. So one time, two time I can do it. So if you are feeling it difficult, anyways, I'm recording it. You please go through it multiple times. Though if you're not feeling it, feeling difficulty, just personally you can WhatsApp me. Okay, because it's really time consuming, because I can't spend maximum time here. It's all basics which everybody is not taking into consideration. In other classes they're not doing it. Why I'm taking it is because this is the base. If I just leave it and if I go, actual syllabus will start from here. If I show you, actual syllabus will start from here. It starts from here. So this is all whatever I'm teaching now, it is just to make it base. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you all. Just, I mean, and please be attentive whenever taking class. So be attentive, don't miss any trick or any particular it may be a small maybe a small information, but it's very very important. So that's why don't miss out, be attentive in the class. Now see.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Ma'am, do we have to use integration by parts in each question?
Yes, you can use, instead of that trick you can use, but integration by part, it will take a time, so that is time consuming. Instead of that, you can use this trick for those particular functions, Rupesh.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now let us see the next example. It is f of t is equal to sine a t. F of t is equal to sine a t is there, where t is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So here in place of f of t, I'm having sine a t. Go with the same procedure. So now if I consider this is 0 to infinity e to the power minus st sine a t into dt. Okay. So this is nothing but how we write. It is limit as, here you can see this way we can also write, or we can read it in the same way. Now guys, if you see these two function differentiation, if I take for this any function, any one of the function for differentiation, if I want to use the trick which I've told you just now, see sine 80 differentiation is what? Cos differentiation is minus sine, again minus sine differentiation is again minus cos. So what is actually continuing? There is no end for this process. There is no, differentiation is tending to 0. If I consider this for differentiation, this is e to the power minus st into minus s. Again differentiate, e to the power minus st into s square. Again differentiate, e to the power minus st into s cube. Like that, it will again continue. So that implies there is no tending to 0 happening. So therefore, that particular trick is not applicable here. So what we use here is the methodology, that is whenever you're getting the repeat integration, so we'll use a method. So this is a method in fact. So we consider whatever the integral we want to find out, we consider it as I or by some name, and then we integrate it, okay, by using the parts. Now how to remember the again the integration by parts? No difficulty guys, I just give you again a trick how to remember it. Now you know that differentiation of two functions, say d by dt of u into v. How we do this? We know this. Now the differentiation of first function, second function as it is, differentiation of second function, first function as it is. That is u dash v plus u into v dash. This is how we differentiate it. Okay. So now what I do, I integrate both the side, because that's what the integration by parts will say. If I have two functions, how to integrate it. So integrating both the side. So this differential will cancel with the integration. I just left with u into v is equal to u dash v plus u into v dash. You can read as u dash or you can read as u prime. It's up to you. Okay. So this is what we get. This is also integration. And here is a plus sign. Now I am interested in this. So integration of u dash into v will be equal to, take the remaining thing other side, it is u into v minus integration of u v dash. Actually, I don't remember the formula. I use this trick. So what you do, if you don't remember the formula, at least you know this. You start with this, integrate both the side. So by integrating, this differentiation will cancel with the integration. So you just get uv, and this is integration here, integration here. I want the integration of this term, so I'm keeping it here, and the remaining term, this term I'm taking on the other hand, it is uv minus integration of uv dash. Okay, so this is what we want now. We're going to use this particular formula. Did you understood the trick, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
So just remember, if you're not able to remember this formula, just remember this. Remaining, you can do it by your own. Okay. So instead of remembering all the formulas, just you can make it easy. Now let us start with the problem. Now what all I want in this, I can see that I want u dash, I want v dash, I want u, I want v. So now let us find out what is u, what is v, what is u dash, what is v dash. So here what I consider is, this is my function now. So this is my function here. So it is of the form integration of u dash v. It is of the form integration u dash v. Means u dash is what here? u dash is e to the power minus st. I'll write v dash. Here I'll write u. What is u then? This is my differentiation. I'll get u by integrating this. This will be e to the power minus st upon s. Because u dash is this, u will be integration of this term. Now I know v. This is my v, already known. V is equal to sine at. So if v is equal to sine at, what is the differentiation of this v will be? It is a into cos at. So I've got u dash, I have got v dash, I have got u, I have got v. Is the step is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now once we have got all this, now simple thing is what? Just substituting here. So therefore integration of this I'll not write again. That is 0 to infinity e to the power minus st into sine at dt. This is what is my integration u dash v is equal to uv. This is what is u into v. This is my u. It is minus e to the power minus st upon s. V is what? Sine at minus integration of u. Again, this is integration of u into v prime. So u is minus e to the power minus st upon s into v prime, that is a into cos at. Is the step is clear, guys? Into dt. I'm not doing anything much here. I'm just substituting the values u, v, u and v prime. Are you following the steps?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once we have done with this, now I can just show you what till what we have done. Now here I'm just doing the same. This I'm substituting and I'm writing this step. Once I have written this step, this I will be equal to this minus 1 by s e to the power minus st sine at I'm writing as it is. Then this you can see this is minus sign here, minus sign here. That is minus into minus plus. Then here a is there. This a and this s, that is a by s I have taken out. That is a by s. Integration from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st cos at dt. Okay. So this is what is the next step. Just I mean writing the minus sign out and then writing the, I'm just clearing this now again. So now again if you see this is fine and this is again the same type. What we were having e to the power minus st, instead of sine I'm having here cos. So again you use u dash. What is my u dash here? It is e to the power minus st. And I don't know about v dash. I don't know about u and I know about v. What is my v here? Cos at. Now integrating this, it is e to the power minus st upon s, because u will be obtained by integrating it, and v dash. So this is cos at means v dash will be minus a sine at. So this is how we have got now u dash, v dash, u and v. Now again we want the same, we use the same formula. The formula says integration of e to the power minus st cos at will be equal to, I'll use the erase because I just want to erase this. Okay. Then what I'm going to use here, this is equal to u into v. It is minus e to the power minus st upon s into cos at. So this is our u into v minus integration of u. It is minus e to the power minus st upon s into v prime. This is minus a sine a t into dt. So this is what we are going to get here. So once we have done with this, so again, this is our, first problem. Now what you do? You're going to substitute this value here. This is your I, this is your first term as it is, this term, I'm keeping as it is, plus this a by s I'm keeping as it is. This is all happening here inside. You can say u into v minus integration of u into v prime. So now you can write this as e to the power minus st sine at as it is. Now this is minus into plus, minus a divided by a, s into s is s square, e to the power minus st into cos at. Then minus into minus plus, here it is a and here it is a square, and minus into minus plus, plus into this again, this minus. See here, this is, there is one minus here, this one minus here, this is one minus here. So minus into minus plus, plus into minus minus. So minus a square upon s into s, it is s square e to the power minus st sin at into dt. Okay, so this is what the final term you are getting. But again, if you see, for your surprise, this is repeating e to the power minus st sin at into dt. But this is what? In the beginning only you have seen, this you have started with I is equal to. So this is nothing but your I. Now what you will get, you rewrite here. This is nothing but I plus this I take on the other hand. It is yes, a square plus s square into I, because this is nothing but I. Then remaining terms are these two are remaining terms on the right hand side. E to the power minus st upon s into sin at, then minus a upon s square, this term. Okay, so simplify this. This will be s square plus a square upon s square into I, which is equal to this e to the power minus st you can take out here with minus sign. Then what is remaining inside? It is 1 upon s sin at plus a upon s square cos at. Now applying the limit from 0 to infinity. So 0 to infinity means, you know, again if it is e to the power minus st, wherever t is there, if you apply infinity, then this terms as corresponding to infinity will become 0. So this is first, if I upper limit, if I substitute, then the whole thing will become 0. See, e to the power minus infinity into this whole thing will become 0. Then already minus sign is here, minus lower integral. So minus of minus, it becomes plus here, e to the power 0 into 1 by s sin 0 plus a by s square cos 0. So e to the power 0 is what? E to the power 0 into, it is 1 upon s sin 0 is 0 plus a upon s square cos 0 is 1. So what is it? Abhilash? So this is e to the power 0 is 1 and this is 0. This is nothing but what? A upon s square. So what you have got here on the right hand side, it is e upon s square. On the left hand side, you have got this. Now simplify this. It is s square plus a square upon s square into I is equal to a upon s square. This s square will cancel. I want I will be a upon s square plus a square. But what is your I? I is Laplace transform of sin at. So therefore, the Laplace transform of sin at is equal to a upon s square plus a square. So one of the important result, guys, which you have to know. Okay, so just practice it. I've given a simple trick. Use that trick and try to practice that repeatedly. Okay, and this is one example. Similarly, you have to try for cos 80. Answer you will get it as s upon s square plus a square. Same way, same trick, same thing you have to solve, and you have to find the answer for cos 80. That is for your practice problem. Hope you will do that. Will you solve cos 80, guys? Same way.
Yes, ma'am. We'll
Yeah, try
Yes,
today. All of you try today and you try to solve that cos 80. Okay, I have given it for the practice problem. Okay, then now let me give some definition where we'll talk about this boundedness and all. Now, yes, you please remember the formulas. All of you please remember them as a formula. Okay, now a function is said to be bounded. You might have heard about this boundedness. Whatever function if I consider, if I say that as bonded, what do you mean by bonded? There should be some real number or there should be some positive number such that my function should be restricted with that particular positive number. For example, if I take the sine function, if I take the sine t function, it is said to be bounded if you see the values, sine t will not cross -1 and +1. The maximum value which we can take is this +1. So therefore, the sin t can take the value less than or equal to 1. It will not take beyond the value 1. There is no value for sin t which is taking 2, which is taking 3 or 4. because it is having the maximum value as 1. This is true for all t. This is true for all t, whether it is sine 30, whether it is sine 60, whether it is sine 90, 190, whatever the values you take, but it will take the value maximum as 1. If such thing is happening, a function f of t is said to be bounded if there exists a positive constant. This is called as positive constant, set as m, if modulus of f of t is less than or equal to that m, then we call it as the bounded function. Similarly, cos function, if you consider, cos function is also bounded by 1 and minus 1, but it cannot take higher value than this 1. But whereas tan is not bounded, because tan will go to infinity. Tan will take the value infinity. It is not a bounded function. Sine is a bounded function. Cos is a bounded function. Take e to the power minus 80. So you take the value where a is positive and t is positive, and since this value e to the power minus 80, it will be less than or equal to 1 for all the t greater than or equal to 0. So if I take any value greater than or equal to 0, then it will be taking the value, this will be taking the value less than or equal to 1. Again, it is a bounded function. So bounded function means what? A function which is taking some positive value such that its value, like say modulus of f of t, will be less than or equal to that positive number. So I have given the examples here: sine function and exponential functions. These are bounded functions. Okay. So now in the bounded functions only, we are interested in something called exponential order. So exponential order is also a bounded function only, but it is not only the real number, but also the exponential function is required for it. So here I shown you in the beginning, if f of t is less than or equal to m, it is bounded. With m, if you're having some exponential function like e to the power 80 less than or equal to m into e to the power 80, if this is also happening, then we call it as exponential order. This function is called as exponential order. Then why you are learning all this? Because not every function is having a Laplace transform. So what are the conditions for the Laplace transform? In order to understand that and in order to exhibit that, we are studying this particular definitions. So a function is said to be of exponential order if that particular function is less than or equal to m into e to the power at. Okay, so what is this? Where this m already you understood, it is a positive constant, and this is the exponential function. Okay, I'll give an example where you understand it better. So here, and one more important thing for the quiz or CBT, they may ask you every bounded function of an exponential order. See, every bounded function, whatever the bounded function, sine function I've discussed, cos function I've discussed, e to the power 80 I've discussed, those all functions are of exponential order. It means that every bounded function is of exponential order, but the reverse may not be true. Okay. So here, for example, in the exponential order, if you take e to the power bt into sine ct, so take the modulus of this. Take the modulus of this. If you take the modulus of this, then what do you get? So modulus of e to the power bt into sine ct. So this is nothing but, so we know that modulus of sine ct is less than or equal to 1. So this you will get it as 1 into e to the power bt. 1 into e to the power bt. So because this is already less than or equal to 1 from the previous you have seen, into e to the power bt. So this implies your whole function will be, we can write it as, modulus of this can be written as 1 into e to the power bt, where this 1 is nothing but my m, and this is nothing but e to the power at, where a is equal to b. So we can express the given function as less than or equal to m into e to the power at. Thus, this function is also of exponential order. This function is of exponential order. Similarly, the function t to the power n, if you see this t to the power n, by applying the L'Hospital rule n times, just remember the functions, not necessary to remember everything. If I substitute f of t is equal to t to the power n in Laplace transform, so you will be getting here e to the power minus 80 into t to the power n, which is less than or equal to m. By applying the L'Hospital rule n times, you will get this. Okay, so now if I write this t to the power n on the left side, less than or equal to, if I take on this other hand, this will become m into e to the power 80. Now if you see, I can write this t to the power n as less than or equal to m into e to the power at. So when I'm able to express any function of this type, then it is of exponential order. Okay, just remember the function. Not necessary to remember everything, just remember the function. This is for your understanding, I've given the explanation. Okay, but you see now this example, e to the power t square. If I take e to the power t square, multiply this with e to the power minus at. Why am I multiplying this with minus e to the power minus at only? Because Laplace transform definition only it says we have to go with e to the power minus st, where my s is a here. That's it. Okay. So I'm multiplying this. Then I'll get here what? E to the power minus at plus t square. If I take the limit as t tends to infinity, this will go to what? Infinity. Infinity plus infinity. It is not only just minus infinity. Minus at plus t square is there. So therefore, this will take the value infinity as t tends to infinity. Thus, the limit does not exist. If the limit does not exist, then the Laplace transform does not exist. Okay, therefore it is not of exponential order. So we do have example for which are not of exponential order. So very important example, you can see, you can make a note of it. So this is an example, or they may give in the choice. When they give the choice, right, CBT questions, they will give following is not the example for a Laplace transform, or following is not in the exponential order, e to the power t, e to the power t, e to the power minus t, e to the power t square, none of them. So this answer is e to the power t square. Okay. So with this, what we understand is not every function can be having the Laplace transform. So there are few functions which may not be having the Laplace transform. That's what we understand by this definition. So there comes a very important theorem that is called as existence and uniqueness of the Laplace transform. So this particular theorem will answer for every query. So this is what is called as existence theorem, and this is also called as Laplace transform. I think meanwhile, Benson, you're taking a screenshot and sending me through the drive. Okay, so do that. So now let f of t, what is this particular function talks about? F of t, where t is greater than 0, is a real valued function, and it has to have the following properties. Then only we say that it is having the Laplace transform. What are the two properties? The first property is you can see the function has to be piecewise continuous. So here, if, for example, if I take my interval as a b and say some t is here, and this is my function which I'm defining on it. So every finite interval you consider, whatever the interval you consider, whatever small interval you consider, on each piecewise, I mean on small, or you can say the finite interval, if the given function is continuous, then we call it as a piecewise continuous function. A function, if it is continuous at every tiny interval or a finite interval, then we call it as a piecewise continuous function. So this is the first criteria. Second criteria, just now we discussed, f has to be of exponential order. F has to be of exponential order. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then only we say that the Laplace transform exists. Then we define Laplace transform by this formula. So you please remember now, not every function is having the Laplace transform. A function which are piecewise continuous, a function which are having the exponential order, only those functions are having the Laplace transform. So now in the above examples you have seen, we have defined sin at Laplace transform. We have taken the Laplace transform of 1. We have taken the Laplace transform of t. So all these examples, whichever we have taken, e to the power minus at. So all these examples are both piecewise continuous as well as these are of exponential order. Thus, that's the reason we can find out the Laplace transform of them. So whatever examples I've quoted, guys, all these are of exponential order as well as piecewise continuous. And please remember that these are the two conditions for this existence, Laplace, having the Laplace transform. So that's why it is called as existence theorem for Laplace transform. Okay. And Laplace transform, if it all exists, it will be unique. Okay. Some basic formulas I've given. All these formulas you please by heart them. Okay, so all the formulas I have given. So all these formulas you by heart. I think you have to practice them more and more, guys. Now take a time. It's a starting time. Practice more and more problems. and be comfortable with the problems. Okay, I'll be uploading this video in the Google Classroom. Please go through it, do the regular studies, guys.